Would that be the famous Terrell?
Good morning.
Good morning. We didn't know we had you. Anyway, Terrell, listen, first of all, thanks for getting up and joining us. I don't know if you heard a second ago our poll question, but we wanted to know, Sam asked the question, what signals spring for you? Is it the Masters? Is it, we give you a couple choices or something else. So is it the Masters? Is it Braves opening day? Is it G-Day or something else? I don't put you on the spot here.
Braves opening day for sure. Whenever baseball's in the air, I know that spring is out. And I'm a pretty early morning guy, so when I'm up at 6 in the morning and I can see light outside, I know that that spring is right ahead of us.
That's a nice way of knowing those things. You're watching those things. Also, spring is approaching when we get to the NBA trade deadline. That we just had this past week. And the Hawks did go dealing at the last minute and brought back someone that we're familiar with, someone you're familiar with as well. What do you make about this deal that the Hawks make the right deal and the best deal for this team right now?
To be quite honest with you, I really do believe that they made a great pickup in adding Lou Williams. Of course, you can never replace the experience that a gentleman like Rajon Rondo brings to your locker room and adds to the floor. But I feel like the Hawks needed another scoring punch. I feel like the guys are just now starting to build chemistry with folks coming off of injuries. Of course, with the coaching change that took place, it seems like the guys are kind of getting used to what Coach McMillan wants to see. But when Trae Young is not on the floor, you can definitely see that scoring isn't as high. I think with the addition of Lou Williams, he's someone who can run the pick and roll very well, something that the Hawks love to do. He's also someone that when the Hawks need to give Trae a rest, can still come out on the floor, run the offense, but also score buckets as well. So I think it was a great pickup.
Yeah, Terrell Thomas joining Sam and Greg, Sports Radio 92.9 The Game, 92.9thegame.com. Last week, we talked about this, and I made a comment about, not the trade so much, but about the Hawks going deep into the playoffs. Because I don't care who you are. If you ask any NBA player that makes it to the playoffs, they're not trying to get past just the first round and be content. They want to go as deep as they can, and they're all going for a chip. But Hawks fans, at least the ones that gave me some feedback, looked at me with a skunk eye when I said that these guys, I didn't see them going deep into the playoffs this year, and everybody would be just happy getting them to the first round. Well, after this trade with Rondo, that's actually what they're doing. I don't think they're trying to get past the first round because you have playoff Rondo with you. Okay, you got the guy with you on your team to help you ascend when you have a team that may run into an obstacle, any kind of hurdle. This is the guy who's been there, done that, who can solidify things, bring everybody together, whatever it needs. And now he's gone. So, yes, while it may be a great pickup getting Lou Williams, and they're doing this like a pool player, preparing for the next shot, I think that they took a step back with getting rid of Rondo, and I think that just helped the Clippers that much more. They're going to come out of the West as far as I'm concerned. I know that was a lot. Sorry.
No. That was very well said. The Clippers, I'm still kind of skeptical on. I still want to see how Rondo gels with them. I don't want to say impressed with Rondo here as a Hawk, but I don't think we saw enough of him. I don't think he would have been that big of a difference come playoff time. Now, what you said is definitely true. Playoff Rondo is a different animal. We saw that last year as he helped lead the Lakers to a championship. Right. I just don't know how much help that would have added to the Hawks this year. I agree with you. I don't know how far they'll go into the playoffs. I do believe, though, that they will make it past the first round. I believe they'll get past the first round. Anything after that, when they start running into the Brooklyns, into the Sixers, into the Bucks, could get a little shaky. But I don't think that missing out on Rondo will be too detrimental to what the Hawks are trying to do.
Spending time on the waitforit.com hotline with Terrell Thomas. You can follow him. He is social. He is on Twitter at Eldorado2452 at Eldorado2452. Always great to catch up with him. Now, you brought him up. You brought up the Brooklyn Nets. Have they called you to join their team? Because they're calling everybody else, it seems like. LaMarcus Aldridge is the latest one. Come on down. I don't know how many basketballs they're going to have, but and I hear Al Horford's hanging out. He's like not even
no, he's not playing at all.
With OKC, waiting for somebody to call him in. But I'm just asking, have the Nets called you? Because it seems like they've called everybody else.
They called me. I told them I had myself and I had two other guys. I could bring Sam and Greg on, and we can come get a ring as well. They're trying to do something up there in Brooklyn, and I think this is the new NBA. We've seen since the Heatles, we've seen that these teams just believe they got to construct super teams to win a championship. And with the addition of LaMarcus Aldridge, I mean, what more can you say about the Nets? They can go ahead and add us 3, get us out there, and go get them a championship.
Why not? I mean, the thing is that everybody's laughing at what they're doing right now, but it's no different than what we saw Golden State do. It's no different than what we've seen the Lakers do. So now it's happening.
Well, wait a minute. Golden State didn't do that.
Well, they did. They brought in Kevin Durant. What are you talking about? They brought in Kevin Durant.
He brought Kevin Durant, kind of brought himself in.
Either way, he made that a super team.
But they won before he got there.
You're right. But they won even more. Listen, I'm mad about that thing too. But the point is, we didn't see that. We didn't see that happening out east. My thing is with what's going on here in the league, the story of this past week, I wasn't sure where he was going to land, but everybody's talking about Kyle Lowry. Now he's staying with the Raptors. Where was he supposed to go, and who was he supposed to help? And your thoughts on him staying with that team?
Yeah, now that right there surprised me very much. I thought he was going to be on the move. I was hearing the Sixers were looking for him. The Clippers, the Heat, and the Lakers all had interest in him. When it came down to it, it looked like the Sixers and the Heat just weren't willing to give up what Toronto or Tampa, whatever you want to call the Raptors this year, what they were looking for. They wanted draft picks. They wanted younger players, and it seemed like both teams. I know with the Sixers, they wanted the guy Maxey, who was at Kentucky last year, and some picks. With the Heat, they wanted Tyler Herro, Duncan Robinson, and some picks. So neither one of those franchises were willing to give up a player for Kyle Lowry. So he's still there. It kind of seems like it may be an awkward situation. He could still leave in the offseason and sign one of them teams, but I was very surprised that he's still a member of the Raptors this season.
What are we looking at here? Is this like the basketball version of the transfer portal or something?
Yep.
We got the NBA. Is that kind of what we're looking at?
Yeah, this is for certainly a new day in the NBA. And once again, since 2010, I believe since we saw the Heatles come together, players, agents, they're just like, hey, let's get with our homies, let's get with the guys we know well on the court, and try to get a ring. This year alone was the most players who were traded before the deadline ever. I believe it was 44 players that were actually traded on Monday or Tuesday before the deadline expired. And it was the most ever. So this is, I guess you could say, NBA musical chairs, or like you said, our version of the NCAA transfer portal.
Sam, listen, I want you to have your finger ready, put it on 911, because I may have a heart attack because I got to bring up this name. But I'm curious about what Terrell Thomas, I'm curious of what Terrell's opinion is, because I heard this discussed this past week. Did LaMelo Ball do enough to get that MVP? Rookie of the Year?
Oh, man, I believe we saw we saw some great things out of LaMelo, some things that weren't expected. For me, it's kind of hard to give anyone the award who doesn't play a certain amount of games. Before the unfortunate wrist injury, I thought it was a lock. I thought Anthony Edwards has started to do some things in the last few weeks, but I thought in the overall picture, LaMelo had pretty much locked up that Rookie of the Year trophy. But with there still being a lot of meaningful basketball remaining, with there still being over 30 games left, I'm not sure. I think LaMelo may miss out on that opportunity. And if Anthony Edwards can continue to perform up there in Minnesota, whether they win or not, I think at this state, I think it's his award to lose.
Yeah, see, this is a whole lot like last year, man, with Zion and Ja, which I thought Ja would have got it anyway, but everybody was giving it to Zion last year. Guys, listen, I'm just going to say this right now, and it may sound obnoxious, but I don't want no happiness in sports coming out of the city of Houston. Did you see what happened this past week? They don't deserve no happiness, man. They just don't. Basketball, it's a wrap. Football, it's a wrap. And we know what kind of cheaters they are in baseball. I don't want no happiness coming out of that city. Talk about this team and what you saw this past week, man.
It's been rough out there in Houston. That's for sure. With the drama with James Harden to start the season. I do feel bad for Coach Silas. I think that the gentleman, of course, he's waited over 20 years for an opportunity like this to be a head coach at the NBA level, the best of the best. But they just don't have it together right now. I do think it will be a quick turnaround. They have some draft picks in their back pocket. I like the roster in which they're constructing. 20 straight losses, though, it's not much more you can say about that. I don't know if it's the effort on the court where the roster's just that depleted. Everything that's been going on as far as the trade talks with Victor Oladipo, who was also traded this week to the Miami Heat. So it's definitely been rough. It's been a rough few years in Houston. We can say from a sporting aspect, whether you're talking on NFL or NBA. But yeah, that was hard. That was hard for the Houston Rockets and Houston Rockets fans. And once again, Coach Silas.
Difficult times in Houston, but better times here in Atlanta. Hawks still got to figure out the rest of this road trip. They still got some tough games before they come home. What's a good finish for this road trip for them?
I believe since they went on the 8-game road trip, if they could stay around 500, if they could go 4-4, I believe that would be a good outcome. Now, they're currently 2-2, so they've won 2, they've lost 2. They have the Nuggets tonight, and they have Phoenix on Tuesday, so it will not get any easier by any slate. I don't believe Lou Williams will join the team until Tuesday, so they'll still be kind of filling out the lineup. So if they can continue what they're doing right now and at least go 500, win 2 out of the next 4, and then get back here to Atlanta, I think going 500 overall would be great for this Hawks team.
Hey, Terrell, before we let you go, let everybody know where they can follow you at.
Thank you very much. You can check me out on Twitter and Instagram at Eldorado2452 or at These Urban Times.
It's Terrell Thomas. Man, we thank you again. You're going to be a regular on this show. Appreciate you getting up and joining us this morning.
Thank you, gentlemen, for having me. Have a great week.